how'd you find Perth? Have you ever been over there for league before?
Yeah, we've played a couple of games over there. I think we played the first game on Optus Stadium there, like going back, I think it was 17 or 18. We had a double header over there. We played the Bulldogs and I think South played the Warriors. So, so it's a long way to go, but it's a pretty good stadium and obviously it's a big stadium. So, but quite enjoyable.
Looks like there is an appetite over there for rugby league and potentially NRL in the future.
well, I hope so. Cause it looks like they're, the new team from Perth's coming in. So, like I say, I don't, not quite sure how many Perth people and how many people travelled there that were in the crowd. But again, it was the Perth people done a really good job, setting it up, and hopefully, when the NRL team come in there, it'll have plenty of backing and a lot of support from the people over there.
What did you make of the game on Wednesday night?
Yeah, obviously being in the New South Wales camp, it was disappointing our first half, to be quite honest. But we just showed what the team's capable of in the second half. But we always knew Queensland were they'd come out fighting early, and we just didn't handle that as well as we would have liked. But anyway, it's 1-1, so we'll see what happens next time.
The Storm contingent as well, they're all very good, but seeing Cameron Munster shine on that big stage, owning that captaincy role, must be pretty special.
Yeah, for him, to captain his state, obviously, a really proud moment for him and his family and the Storm, to be quite honest. He led them with a lot of energy and really stuck to doing what he does well. And like I say, it's really proud of him. Not real happy for him, but real proud of him. And like I say, hopefully the Blues can get them next time.
I guess in the early, it's all well documented in the early stages. He was a bit off the rails. You gave him a bit of a bake at pre-season camp. To see how far he's come from those days, were there ever days where you were like, you had to consider, giving him the tap on the shoulder, letting him go with all that behaviour in the early parts of his career?
Oh, I don't think really, tapping on the shoulder and telling me he's on his bike. No, I don't think that was ever a consideration. The one thing about Cameron in his whole time here, he's got a genuine care for the club, and I think that's his real strong point. Obviously, he's got a lot of strong points as a footy player too, but he's got a genuine care for what's right for the club and what he can do for the club, and I think that's always stood him in really good stead. Like at times he got a bit loose, but I think Bianca and the kids have sorted that out now. But like I say, he's always had that genuine care for the club and his teammates.
Craig, you've named all the Origin boys to start. Do you consider giving them a rest closer to Saturday night?
Well, Xavier won't be playing, so the rest of them we've left them alone a little bit. So Munster's come back, obviously. To see his kids, he missed them. So he's come back, but he's not trained today. I think pretty sure he'll play, but the rest of them we'll just see how they come up tonight and go from there.
Are you likely to leave Steph out?
Say again?
Steph's come back as well, like he would go to Sydney, so what are your thoughts with him in the other side?
I don't know, we'll see how he goes today and then go from there. Yeah.
Obviously, H carries the C next to his name at this club. Would you ever consider appointing Munster a co-cap and to sort of get him used to a role like at the top?
Oh no, I think Cameron's happy with his role on what he does, and he knows what his role is here, and he does it really well. So I don't see a great need to change it.
If Cameron doesn't play, I see like Keegan's been named to Munster reserves. Obviously, the under-21s have been travelling really well. Is he likely to maybe get started?
Oh, he's a chance of going in there. Like I say, we'll just see who's in, who's out. Because there's a couple of things. With Wish, you can play in Nars, we can play hooker as well. You can play in the ruck. So we'll just see, when we catch up with them this afternoon tonight, and then we'll go from there.
Munster, for Cameron, was it also like obviously he put everything into that game? It seemed like it was a really emotional game for him. Does that play into it as well, that he might be feeling a bit flat, or you just he's been around them enough to be able to get up?
I think the one thing, and there's a chance of that without doubt. Feeling flat, and he's not going to be. Every how many people were there the other night, there's probably going to be certainly less in the crowd. But the one thing, all of our great or really good players here have prided themselves on playing State of Origin and then coming back and back up for our club team. And Cameron Smith and Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk, Greg Inglis, they all pride themselves on that. And I think these guys have caught that bug off them. And like I say, they mightn't be 100% tomorrow night because of playing on Wednesday, but we know they're going to give their best, and their best will be good enough.
What sort of things are you striving for in this second half of the season? Obviously, consistency was a bit of an issue the first half. Scraped through.
Yeah, it's probably the main thing for us, especially our away games. We just need to be more consistent in the things we do well, and instead of sort of patches of that and then patches of not so much good stuff. So we just need to make sure we get a bit consistent with doing the things we know work for us.
What have you made? Obviously, South haven't been travelling too well on the ladder. They've had such a horrid injury run. What have you made on paper?
Again, I haven't sort of taken all of it, but notice obviously they've had a real tough run injury-wise, and but we know they've got some really good players there. Obviously Trell will back up, and he's one of the best players in the game. So like I say, they've still got a lot of good players in their team, but like I say, that they have had a real tough run injury. But at this stage, we're just concerned with ourselves.
Looks like you might finally get a dry track. Every time you go to Sydney, it seems to rain.
Yeah, it probably does. I don't know what the weather conditions. I haven't sort of really looked that far ahead, but like I say, whatever it is, hopefully we'll handle it okay and go from there.
So seeing Billy Slater, get a really important win on Wednesday. There's a lot of pressure heaped on him. Some barbs from other camps. What did you make of that criticism on him and the way he handled that sort of pressure externally?
At the end of the day, different people handle different things in different ways, and like I say, Billy handled it his way, and I haven't got much more to say than that.
Craig, some numbers released during the week. I think record participation numbers in the junior ranks in Victoria, 6,000 kids playing rugby league. Does that fill you with pride, knowing the numbers are on the rise, more kids are playing rugby league here?
Yeah, with the pride thing, I'm not quite sure. I need to be proud of it, but I haven't done too much work there. But I know the club have worked really hard in the last 2 or 3 years, to, I suppose, promote our game in the juniors here in Victoria, and especially in the Melbourne area. And there's a whole heap more playing now, and the club certainly is very proud of that. And but as I said, Frank Panisi and a lot of these guys, how much work they've put in, to get those numbers up has been really impressive, and looks like it's working, and hopefully it will keep working. And the guys that come over to play rugby league, and the girls, girls and guys that come over to play rugby league, hopefully they enjoy it and continue to play it. So it's a good sign for rugby league and the Storm in Victoria.